In the Gilded Age, two men went to war, not for gold, but for old bones. Edward Drinker Cope, Othniel Charles Marsh. Once friends, they became the bitterest of rivals. It started cordially in Berlin, 1864. Two young paleontologists sharing a passion for the prehistoric world. They named species after each other, a brotherhood of science, until pride got in the way. 1868, Cope unveils his masterpiece, the Elasmosaurus, a massive marine reptile. Marsh came to visit. He looked closely and noticed something strange about the neck. "Cope," he said, "you've put the head on the wrong end." Cope was humiliated. He tried to buy back every copy of the journal he published to hide the mistake. But Marsh made sure the world knew. The friendship died that day. The war had begun. Marsh was wealthy, backed by his uncle, George Peabody. He wanted control. Cope was brilliant, a prodigy, but reckless. He vowed to outdiscover Marsh at any cost. The battlefield wouldn't be in the universities. It would be here, the American West. The Transcontinental Railroad opened up the fossil-rich Badlands. Marsh brought hired guns and distinct military precision. He treated paleontology like a conquest. Cope used his own fortune, diving into the dirt, relying on charm and sheer willpower. They began staking claims. Kansas, Wyoming, Colorado. The race was on. It wasn't fair play. Marsh bribed station masters to delay Cope's shipments. Cope countered with spies, tracking Marsh's movements to steal his dig sites. Early victories were massive. Giant sea monsters emerged from the Kansas chalk. The public was hooked. "Monsters of the past," screamed the headlines. But the real prize wasn't in the sea. It was waiting in the rocks of the Morrison Formation. Dinosaurs. The giants were about to wake up. 1877. A local teacher named Arthur Lakes stumbles upon massive vertebrae in Colorado. Naively, Lakes sends samples to both rivals. A fatal mistake. Marsh panicked. He paid Lakes to snub Cope. He wanted exclusive rights. Then, the jackpot. Como Bluff, Wyoming. A graveyard of giants. This ridge would become the epicenter of the Bone Wars. Marsh's men arrived first. They locked it down like a military fortress. Cope arrived too late for the best spots, but he dug in nearby. The camps were dangerously close. Out of the dust came creatures never seen before. The Stegosaurus with its plated back, the Allosaurus, the terrifying apex predator of the Jurassic, and the long-necked giants, Apatosaurus, though Marsh rushed to name it Brontosaurus later. Speed was king. Science took a backseat. Bones were ripped from the ground, often damaged. Marsh commanded from afar, receiving boxcar after boxcar of fossils at Yale. Cope worked until he dropped, analyzing bones by candlelight in dusty tents. The species count skyrocketed. They were describing animals faster than they could clean them. In their haste, they became sloppy, naming new species based on a single tooth or bone fragment. They renamed the same animals multiple times, creating scientific chaos that took a century to fix. Tensions at Como Bluff boiled over. The workers weren't just digging, they were guarding. Fistfights broke out in local saloons. Team Marsh versus Team Cope. Cope tried to poach Marsh's best diggers with promises of higher pay. Marsh retaliated by threatening local suppliers. Starve them out was the strategy. Winter didn't stop them. They dug through snow and frozen ground. Obsession has no season. The sheer volume was staggering. Tons of history waiting to be shipped east. But digging this fast was expensive, and Cope's fortune was beginning to run dry. As the rivalry heated up, the tactics got dirty, very dirty. They would backfill each other's quarries just to waste the other team's time. Spies were everywhere. Codes were used in telegrams to hide discovery locations. Cope once received a shipment of rocks instead of bones, intercepted and replaced by Marsh's agents. But the ultimate sin in paleontology happened when they left a site. If they couldn't take the fossils, nobody would. They dynamited the quarries. Countless scientific treasures were blown to dust just to spite a rival. Scorched earth policy applied to history itself. Cope took the war to the press. He accused Marsh of plagiarism and incompetence. Marsh, now head of the National Academy of Sciences, aimed to cut off Cope's government funding. Cope gambled his remaining fortune on silver mines and lost everything. Cope was broke, living alone in a house overflowing with bones he couldn't afford to curate. Marsh pushed for a law to reclaim Cope's fossils as government property. Backed into a corner, Cope went nuclear. He dug up dirt on Marsh's finances, 1,890. Cope hands his files to the New York Herald. The scandal exploded. Headlines screamed about bribery, theft, and incompetence. The public loved the drama, but the scientific community was horrified. Marsh was forced to defend himself. His reputation took a massive hit. Congress, tired of the squabbling, slashed the funding for paleontology. Marsh won the battle for bones, but he was losing the war for respect. Cope smiled. He had dragged Marsh down into the mud with him. By the 1,890 seconds, both men were financially ruined and socially isolated. Yet, amidst the chaos, what did they actually achieve? Marsh gave us the Triceratops, the three-horned face. Cope discovered the massive Camarasaurus, the most common giant of the Jurassic. Cope found the Coelophysis, a small, agile predator, essential to understanding early dinos. Marsh unveiled the Diplodocus. Its tail could crack like a whip. Before them, only 9 species were known in America. After, they added 136. They filled the map. They proved America was the dinosaur capital of the world. Their discoveries fueled the first generation of dinosaur art, sparking global imagination. Museums went from cabinets of curiosities to halls of giants, but the cost was absolute. Marsh died in 1899 with $186 in his bank account. Cope died earlier, in 1897, his body exhausted by the relentless pace. Even in death, Cope wanted to win. He donated his skull to science, hoping his brain would be measured larger than Marsh's. Marsh never accepted the challenge. The rivalry ended in silence. Thousands of their fossils remained unopened for decades. Modern scientists are still discovering new species from the crates they packed 130 years ago. Even the Brontosaurus, once dismissed as a mistake, has made a comeback. Their methods were brutal. They destroyed almost as much as they found. We learn from their mistakes. Today, we dig with brushes, not dynamite. But without their drive, these great halls might be empty. They brought the deep past into the living present. 2 flawed men, 1 monumental legacy. The Bone Wars were a tragedy of ego. But out of that hate came a love for dinosaurs that captured the world. Ambition, jealousy, discovery, ruin. Edward Drinker Cope, Othniel Charles Marsh. Their names are fading, but their monsters are immortal. Every time a child picks up a plastic dinosaur, they are fighting the Bone Wars all over again. 136 species, a foundation for modern paleontology. A fortune lost, a history gained. The dust has settled at Como Bluff, the dynamite echoes are gone, but the ground still holds secrets, waiting for the next rivalry or the next collaboration. Science is no longer a war of 2 men, it's a global effort. From bones to biology, the quest continues. Marsh's trophies stand tall at Yale. Cope's treasures guard Philadelphia. Still competing for our awe, still rivals in stone. The Bone Wars are over, but the age of dinosaurs lives on.